Hi Ayush, how are you?
I am fine. I hope you're doing good too.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So, thanks for joining us. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the sixth episode of Enqurious TV. Today we have Mr. Ayush with us. At Enqurious, we help companies build high platform data teams by upskilling professionals with hands on role based learning, turning curiosity into career growth and business impact. So, Ayush, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, perfect. My name is Ayush Bajpayee. I am from Kolkata and I have around 3.5 years of experience in the corporate world. So
Okay,
that's good to begin with.
nice. That's great. Okay, so shall we begin now? So, in this podcast, first section we're going to keep is we'll take some good insights about data engineering domain, and then we'll move to a very short and crisp rapid fire round to have some fun. Sure.
Okay.
Shall we go
Go
ahead?
for it.
Okay. So, firstly, we would want to know like how did you start your career journey, and can you please explain more about it?
Perfect. So I passed out in 2022. I did my BTech and I started my corporate journey as a machine learning engineer from this high radius corporation firm. That was a fun experience, and it was a really tough thing for me because coming from no tech background whatsoever. So I worked there for around, I think, 1 year or so. And then data engineering is what excited me more than AI. So that's where I switched and I started my data engineering journey. I worked for a company, a fintech company called Arth. I built their entire data infrastructure and I did everything for them. And then I switched to this company where I'm currently based out of, and that is Saturam.
Okay,
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
nice, great. So you took a shift from AI to data engineer because that excited you. I think
Yep.
that was a good decision. Okay. All right. So now we would want to know more about how the life of a data engineer looks like when they enter into their workspace. What do they start first with, and then how their day ends. So first, I would want to know is how do you define the role of a data engineer in today's modern data stack? Because most of the times, what happens, we are not even clear with what are the roles and responsibilities. To be personally saying this, for say, I am a data scientist, AI and ML engineer. And if I know what I know about data engineer is somebody who prepares data, works on ETL moreover. And so can you just explain more about it?
Okay. So, with the ever evolving data increase, data engineers play a very crucial part in almost every businesses.
Right.
So, data engineers are actually the backbone of any tech company or any business logic, I would say. The ETL part is correct. Yes, it mostly involves building ETL or ELT pipelines, but it's just not limited to that. So, if you work in a startup, you will have to have a hands-on on everything. You will be doing a little bit of DevOps, you'll be doing a little bit of data engineering, maybe a little bit of data analysis also. But data engineering is a lot. It's like a very big umbrella where ETL comes just one part under it.
Okay.
The other part is mostly developing infra,
Hmm.
maintaining the code of the infra, the deployments, Terraform, and all that.
Okay, nice. And I think one big like the ball is in our code part of startup is we have to wear multiple hats, which is for our own benefit because we get to learn a lot. So I
Yep.
think now I'm also clear with the data engineer's roles. Thanks. Okay. Next is what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in the data engineering? What should they focus on learning first? Because I think now you have good amount of experience in data engineering domain. And when we have this amount of experience, we can easily guide others, where ones especially who are just starting fresh with their journeys. So what advice would you give to them?
I mean, for a person who's just starting out in data engineering, the fundamental thing involves learning Python and SQL. You
Okay.
can forget everything. You just have to focus on these two. This is the building block of the entire data ecosystem, not just data engineering.
Yeah.
So start with Python, learn the concepts, learn the different aspects of Python, learn SQL, learn a little more, get deep into it. What are window functions,
Right.
what are clauses, and all that. And I think that's a very good start for data engineering.
I agree. For data domain overall, if you talk about the musts are Python and SQL. But with all these AI platforms coming in, it's like more about you should know how to debug, you should know where to catch errors, how to catch errors in the syntax, because most of the codes and all can be generated by AI as well. So. That's one thing. Correct. Okay. So, can you please tell us a time about when things went sideways? Like, for example, you're sleeping and in the middle of the night at 3 a.m., your data pipeline broke and you're getting a call from your manager. What's happening? So, or was it
Okay.
corrupted? So, how did you handle that sort of a circumstance?
Okay, I'll tell you one little more fun than that. So the
Okay.
problem is if you are actually getting a call that your pipelines are breaking and your manager is calling you, that's actually a very good thing. But what happened with me is we had this alert system notification which was supposed to give us the heads up that a pipeline has broken, the data is not flowing in. But
Mm.
for some reason, that notification system was down. So our entire pipelines were out, and we did not know that because we were relying heavily on the notification system
Uh,
to tell us that if the pipelines are down or not. So for some reason, our notification system was only down. So when I went morning next day, and it's a common task for me to open and see all the monitoring jobs if everything is running fine. I
mm,
could see that it's been a complete chaos, and no team was even notified. So that was one hell of a journey. We had to fix the notification system first, and then we fixed all the pipelines. It was a good learning for us
yeah.
to make the notification system very reliable because that serves as a very important aspect. That's we learned it the hard way.
Mm.
But yeah,
That's the most important thing, which is informing about the breaking down of pipelines, and that itself is not working. So yeah, it could be really hard and a tedious task. Okay. But yeah, as you said, that everything gives us a lesson. So it was a hard learning. Some things we learn bitterly, but that's important, I guess.
yes.
Right. Okay. That was good. Okay. So how does a data engineer grow from writing pipelines to designing systems? And what do you think levels up a career? Like initially when you started, maybe 3.5 years back, you were doing your roles and responsibilities must be different back then. And now it must be very different, right? Because as you grow in your career, responsibilities change and everything. So how would you answer this?
Okay, so I mean, as you grow, as you keep learning data engineering, as you progress in that corporate journey, the more responsibilities come to you because you have a more better understanding of architectures, of HLDs, LLDs, of how actually stuff works, of the different cloud services, the costing part of it, which is basically the most important thing. So when a person who starts out in data engineering, they would not really understand what exactly the costing part is, but once when you start working for clients, they have budgets, they have constraints that you can't just overshoot this budget. We can't just experiment with all these things. So
Mm,
that's where I think the experience matters. So the more you grow, you exactly know what call to take, what architecture to choose, what cloud service to choose. And when you keep growing more, ultimately you will be at a position where you will once be a technical architect, where
mm,
you will be designing the entire architecture from scratch for a client or for some sort of a product. So I believe that comes with the experience, that comes with, like I said, the notification system going down. So you would know that how to not design a notification system. This experience is, I think, what helps you grow.
yeah,
Um, as
right.
an engineer, I feel the highest you can ever achieve is technical architect. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great. So just So, like you said that, and I think there's no way you can just jump from this. All comes with experience. Like once you grow, and all you've seen a lot of your own managers taking these calls, making these decisions, knowing how did they make this call. So it all comes with experience, and you must be so glad you've reached here
Yeah. I
technically.
mean, I think I had a very good luck. I'm blessed with some really good managers in my workplace. They guide me pretty nice.
Hmm.
It's not a lot of people get. But even though if you do not get something like that, I think every individual should rely heavily on themselves.
Hmm.
Of They should have this habit of self-learning. Right now, internet has almost everything freely available to you. So just go out, learn. Or if you're just lucky, you can just have a good manager like I have.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. Because even though that's what personally I feel, even though you have a lot of resources there and everything, but still that thing which human that somebody else teaching you, and not just teaching, like teaching as in sitting with you and teaching you each and everything, but guiding you through that nothing can beat.
I think yes, that is true.
That's a win-win if you are having a good manager, which I also have by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So next is how does a data engineer grow? What trends in the data engineering space excites you? Streaming, lakehouses, auto scaling.
Okay. I'll rather choose something else. I'll rather choose a data warehousing. So
Oh,
it's a very fun concept. So as the moment we are speaking right now, billions and billions petabytes of data is being generated and stored. Just
mm,
take, for example, or Instagram. Somebody is dancing, that reel is being uploaded, and that data is kept somewhere. It is the concept of data warehousing, the way this petabytes, millions of data is stored in a way, and it can be retrieved like in a flash of a second. This entire concept excites me a lot, and this is something which I am personally working on right now. So yeah, I think this is a very fascinating part. I feel it's like magic,
me
super
too.
magic.
Yeah, when you're just in the middle of the night and thinking about how all this is happening in just a blink of an eye within a
Yeah.
second. So that's really magical.
Yeah, that's actually magic. But since we are on the this side of the tech, so I think I would call ourselves the magicians here.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Okay. So what are your personal best practices for making pipelines reliable, scalable, and debuggable?
Perfect. So I believe this is what a lot of developers skip in initial projects. Like if you are working for a very small startup or for a very small client, is that they never document stuff. They just run the code, deploy it. As long as it works, you don't touch the code. That's a very wrong practice. Once you leave the project, you leave the client, someone else works, they will just not understand what exactly the code is doing. So that's where documenting the code, having a very good readme, that is, I think, the best practice which everyone should follow. Big clients has that as a necessity, like without readme, you can't even push some code. So that is one. Second is I think this is very generic, writing very clean code. If something can be achieved by just two lines of code, I will rather choose that rather than complicating something which is just not really required. Third is using libraries. I'm not a big fan of writing custom functions on my own because if there is a library available which can do that for me, it makes my code very simple and very reliable. And I can just plug in and use that library in some other code base, and that will just make my job way more easy as a developer also. And it's easy to debug because most of the libraries you see, they're all open source and there is a team of developers that are working on those libraries day and night. So I think using libraries, more and more libraries is like very good forward to go to. At the moment, I can only think of these now.
But that's all good advice because most of the times, whenever you'll speak to somebody, they'll obviously always suggest that we should document our codes and the code should be readable in itself. Because, as you were just saying, somebody decides to leave a company and they have this whole big project. So, if that project is being passed on to someone else, it should be explainable in itself. So, that's correct. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty sure you also experienced something like this.
Yeah, did. That's why I can just relate a lot to it. Okay. So next is if a junior engineer shadowed you for a day, what would surprise them the most about how you work?
That's a very good question. So I have this habit of listening to music and working all the time and pacing all my office when I have to think something through, like have to think some architecture. So
Okay.
if a junior data engineer has to shadow me, I think he or she has to walk with me, like pacing around. So it's not a good thing for them. That would be like a very big surprise for them. I'm not a very calm kind of person when it comes to thinking loud. So that
Okay.
is something which junior data engineers will support. I think this thing, a lot of, I have seen this in a lot of developers. I've seen this in a lot of people I work with. They
Hmm.
also have the same sort of thing.
Oh,
So I believe once the junior data engineer, once they also get some experience, probably they will also come up with their own shenanigans.
yeah. Their own way of thinking of the best architecture. So
Yeah.
your workspace will have two Ayush hearing music.
Yes. Yes. I think my workspace actually does that.
Okay.
We do value that.
That's nice. That's interesting. Okay, great. So I think we've gained enough insights from you about how data engineer looks like and what are the challenges they face and how what are the best practices. So now let's move to the rapid fire round, wherein a few questions and you have to answer immediately.
Okay.
So shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay. So SQL or Python, pick one forever.
I,
Most okay.
forever.
Okay. Most underrated tool in data engineering right now?
Most underrated data engineering tool right now. Kinesis.
Okay, I've heard this term, don't know much about it though.
Very underrated, but it's super powerful.
Okay. One word to describe debugging a pipeline at midnight. Music.
Don't. Just don't. If it can wait the next day, it is just way better because in midnight, what we usually do is like we'll overthink things and we'll end up breaking more stuff. And then you will not get the support. Your team is sleeping, your manager is sleeping. So it's just a big no. If it can wait till the morning, you should wait.
That's the best answer I have heard for today. Okay. Data lake or data warehouse? Which one are you team for?
Data lake, I would say it's just more flexible.
Nice. Your favorite productivity hack as a data engineer?
I think AI tools. So this one tool has changed my life forever, and it's not Chat GPT. It is
Mhm.
GitHub Copilot and Cursor. So when you code something in your VS Code, you're typing something. There is this GitHub Copilot. It will just read your code and it will
Yeah.
tell you that this code is not going to work. You have to change this line. So this is like a best hack, and I keep telling this to all my colleagues also, and they are also a big fan of it.
Yeah. I recently created a project based on this only.
Okay, then you would know.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So the last one is if your last project had a movie title, what would it be?
It's a fantastic question. Mission Impossible.
But you did it.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Cruise ultimately, every Mission Impossible movie, he does the impossible. So
Yes.
I think it.
Great. Great, Ayush. It was okay. So with this, we comes to an end of our podcast. But it was really nice knowing you, and all the answers you've given us so fun and informative as well. Thanks a lot for being at Enqurious TV. I hope everybody who's watching this gains a lot of insights about data engineer. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.